What's up, buddies? Mega here. Welcome back to another Minecraft video. This is an interesting video because today I'm just gonna do a tutorial basically on these things, which are observers, and it's because someone actually requested it, and I feel like it's a good idea because otherwise I don't have any other ideas. So we're just gonna get straight into it. So this is an observer, obviously, and the way it works is all it does is it sends out a redstone output every time that it's given an update. So you can see that whether the block is destroyed or placed in front, then it's going to give an update on that. It can also give an update if it is moved. So let's say I were to move it this way, you can see that as it gets moved, you can see the little light in the middle is lighting up, which means it's giving an update. So let's say we have this and then a block up like that and then a lever on it. So normally this piston does not work because I mean that's not how redstone works. But giving it an update will actually make it extend, because I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it's a bug that made this happen. Now you can remove the power source and it's still going to stay extended because it has not realized that it's not being powered, because this thing wasn't really supposed to be powering in the first place until you put a block update, which is basically this block that I just placed next to it, which then updates everything around it, making it realize, hey, you shouldn't be powered, and so it will retract again. Now that's really useful in redstone contraptions, which I'm not the greatest redstone guy out there. I'm more of a command person, but it can be really useful for people who know what they're doing. Now, the observer is basically like that, because if any update happens in front of it or it gets moved, it will act as if a block is placed next to a piston, and so therefore making it so that it extends like that. These things can be really useful in farms like this one here, because the observer basically, every time that it detects that this melon plant has grown something, then it will basically tell the pistons, it will give a redstone output and tell the pistons, hey, you should be powered, and then it will basically make the pistons power, and then they will destroy the melon. So you can do this with, you can do it with pumpkins too. So let's say I were to get a pumpkin thing, which is, here it is. So let's say you had a pumpkin one, it would basically do the same thing, it would just destroy the pumpkins. Now you can also do this with sugarcane. So basically in this example you can see that as the sugarcane grows up, then the observer detects that, and then it breaks, and it sends a redstone output, and that tells this piston to break this, which then you can basically make a pretty good farm. And most farms these days that are sugarcane involve the same kind of thing. So observers can be used a lot of times in farms as they detect outputs or inputs from plants or crops growing, which then tells them to activate something. So I hope this has explained basically the basic general part of these observers. I'm pretty sure they work pretty similarly in Bedrock Edition or not Java Edition, so basically everything else. They might work a little bit differently. I don't know if they might not have the same, they might have a different face. I think if I can find a picture, I'll show it on screen. I'm not exactly sure because I don't play, what is it? I do not play Bedrock, but have the same purpose of just giving an output every time that they detect something of change, whether it be a movement or a breaking or placing of block, or just a change in the state of block. So in some cases, let me just turn down the random tick speed. So if you go to some of my other, if you go to some of my other videos, you can see that I use the observers to detect outputs of daylight sensors because, and this is a pretty good, it's a cheap way of having a slow clock, because every time there's a change in the day, then this daylight sensor would normally give a different output, but at the same time, every time that happens, the observer observes that, and then it gives out an output, which means you can have some pretty good chicken farms with that happening. Now, I hope that helps for anyone who is confused on how the observer works. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do leave a like, subscribe if you're new and you like my content, leave a comment, or reply to you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!